Do you actually want Christ? Do you actually want to go all in? Do you actually want to step forward in your faith and actually follow him with all your heart? What are you investing in? Because often, if you want something, you will chase it. If you believe in something, you'll invest in it. If you believe in something, you will put your time and effort into it. So what are you putting your effort into? For me, that was materialistic things. For me, that was lust. For me, that was worldly things, worldly desires. Christ changed me. And so if you actually want to go all in, you'll spend time in the Word. If you actually want to go all in, you will spend your time with God. You'll spend your time in the secret place. So do you want a relationship with him? If you do, then you'll seek him. You'll seek after him. You'll keep on trying to grow and trying to learn and trying to expand your faith, expand your wisdom. And it's this idea of like, where you spend your time is where your heart is. Whether you spend your time in the Word, whether you spend your time serving, whether you spend your time in prayer, or whether you spend your time in worldly things, whether you spend your time watching entertainment, is when you have Christ, you have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. So we're going to read Mark 8:34 through 38. I'm sorry, really quick. The sun is out, so I'm wearing sunglasses. It's not the most engaging thing, but we're going to have to work with it. Calling to the crowd along with his disciples, Jesus said to them, "If anyone wants to follow after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life because of me and the gospel will save it. For what does it benefit someone to gain the whole world, yet lose his life? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, the Son of Man will also be ashamed of him when he comes in the glory of his Father with the holy angels." So it's this scenario where at the end of times, at the day of judgment, when you are face to face with God, when you are in judgment, what will Christ say to you? What will he say to you? Were you just with your lips proclaiming it? Were you just focusing on, or were you just going to church on Sunday and then you were never with Christ during the week? Or what did that look like? And when you have Christ, you have nothing to lose. The Lord wants people to choose him. It's not a forced relationship, so it's not something that you have to do. You can choose. You can choose what you want. You could stay in the world all you want. You can choose to chase what you want in the world. God gives you free will. You get to choose. It's not a forced relationship, but he wants it with you. You can also ultimately choose to follow him or choose to reject him. And Jesus came not to make you a good person, but to make a dead person into an alive person. So essentially, we're all dead in our sin, following our own desires, following our own problems, following our own choices. But he came to rectify that. He came to resurrect us and to make us new, beings, to make us new creatures, to follow him, to be reborn. This is where born again comes from. Christ came to make us new. And of course we can choose to reject him, stay in our own world and our own kingdom essentially, and then eventually die and eventually not have that relationship. And God uses broken people. So don't worry about going to God dirty. Don't worry about going to him with your sin, going to him with your brokenness, and then you want to be clean before him. No. He'll fix that. He'll change you. He'll heal our brokenness. He will make you new. He will use you if you let him. This is where it comes down. If you've been a lukewarm Christian your whole life, if you want to go all in, now is the best time. Now is the best time because he wants that relationship with you. Do you actually love God, or do you just want to get saved? Do you want to go to heaven and see your loved ones, be in a perfect place, or do you want to go be with God, be with Christ? Do you want to be in heaven, to be in a perfect place, or to be with God? Do you want do you want to see Christ, or do you want to see some streets of gold? That's really what it comes down to. Because the thing that makes heaven perfect is God. So if you don't want to be there because of him, you might not be going. So we're going to get into this idea of like, there's nothing to lose. So, and what can man do to me on this earth? What can man do to me? Because, and Philippians 1, 21 through 24, I thought is a great idea of what Paul says in prison. Paul's in prison. And look what he says. He says, "For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. For if I live on in the flesh," this means fruitful work for me. Because when we're living in the flesh, of course we can still do good things with the Holy Spirit. We can still have that relationship with him and still do good things, and God can work through us. But if you depart and be with Christ, then you're with God. That's also a good thing. So which one should you choose? And he says, "I am torn between the two. I long to depart and be with Christ, which is far better. It's far better to be with Christ. But to remain in the flesh is more necessary for our sake." So it's more necessary to be on earth and do the work of God here and be all in, and to go all in for Christ, to have that relationship and to go preach the gospel to all nations. And so I'll end with this. So focus on Christ, not religion. You focus on Christ, the relationship. Because if you don't have the relationship, it's all useless. The whole religion, all the spirituality, it's all useless if you do not have the relationship with Christ. So not religion, but Christ. Not the world, but Christ. So not to the material, not to the even if you're building a ministry, you don't want to get caught up in building this business essentially that is advertised as Christ. So you don't want to do that. And I'll just end with this. The relationship starts in the secret place, and where you are alone with God. So in that secret place, when you're alone in your room, when you're alone in the house, when you're alone outdoors, this is where you can spend your time with God. And it all starts in that secret place. So I'd encourage you, if you want to go all in, type it down in the comments. Just share your testimony, share what how you got to where you are. God bless. Go bless God, and go make a change. Go have that relationship with Christ. So thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.